All right. Actually, real quick, before we even start, I should go to, gosh dang it. Yes, I need to check up on my YouTube real quick and make sure that Derek didn't come out. The YouTube studio. I gotta make sure it's coming through content. I gotta update the Berkshire Hathaway, and that needs to come out. This is the 10th, so schedule the 9th at 12 p.m. Set as premiere, inspirational, save, edit. Just want to make sure everything's in there like it should be. Because if I don't get this next one up, then that's fine. Investing. Save. Coolio. Okay, right. 8, which is today, 8, 9. I'm going to try and get both of them to come out on the same time, but we'll do our best. Okay. And then we'll change this video to this one, publish that. Yay! We're getting somewhere in life. Okay. Oh, that's actually doing pretty good. I'm looking at the... kind of surprised. Wow. 7 views right out the gate. Damn, guys. Thank you so much for watching my shit on YouTube. I'm so fucking grateful. Thank you. Like, fuck, you know? I like how you... I'm just noticing the post I made on April. What kind of content do you guys want to see? And it says more investment, 0. More daily life, meals and chat, 50. Cats, 50. Oh, that's fucking hilarious. So don't make more investing. That's what you guys don't want to see. Too bad. That's a part of it, all right? But yeah, I got more gaming stuff coming in. I don't know if that's more daily stuff, but we'll work on doing some more daily stuff and more cat videos. I kind of paused on the cat videos because the cat videos come from the Instagram, and I haven't been putting more there. But the more I do there, the more cat videos, so shorts. I hope you guys enjoyed. How did you guys like the cat one that I put out of the catnap? One person watched it. Come on, guys. You can't say you want more cat ones and then that. You know what? I'll make some shorts of the cat naps. How do we like that? I'll make a couple shorts of that. You guys like that idea? I'll make some shorts of the cat nap and post those throughout the week too. There. You happy? I'm joking. I'm just being facetious. Is that the right word right now? Okay. So earlier, I had some stuff to do, and I could only read like an hour's worth at a time, and we have a good another 30 minutes of the Berkshire Hathaway 1980 section, so we're going to continue on that. I'm going to do a little magical moment, YouTube intro. We'll continue reading, YouTube outro. I'm going to end this one, edit it, make sure it goes up, and then I'm going to come back because I have some plans, and I'm really hopeful that you guys are going to help me out on this. We could work together. I set up like a little tip thing for us to get to cat stuff and whatnot, but I think I'm going to kind of adjust the way that it looks and how it is, but I got to do some research. We got some other things to do. So that's what we're going to focus on later this evening while I stream. But without further ado, let's get the hard part done. Gotta get the work done first. A little magical moment. Hello guys, and welcome back to Leah's Lifestyle. We are back to finish the Berkshire Hathaway Letters to Shareholders 1980. The first part should be out, and this is the second part. So, whether it's the same day or the next day, it should be there if you're finding this on YouTube. So without further ado, let's just get into it. We ended at insurance industrial conditions. The insurance industrial underwriting picture continues to unfold about as we anticipate, with the combined ratio, see definition on page 37, rising from 100.6 in 1979 to an estimated 103.5 in 1980. It is virtually certain that this trend will continue and that industrial underwriting losses will mount significantly and progressively in 1981 and 1982. To understand why, we recommend that you read the excellent analysis of property casualty competitive dynamics done by Barbara Stewart of Chubb Corp. In an October 1980 paper. Chubb's annual report consistently presents the most insightful, candid, and well-written discussion of industry conditions. You should get on the company's mailing list. Mrs. Stewart's analysis may not be cheerful, but we think it is very likely to be accurate. And, unfortunately, a largely unreported but particularly pernicious problems may well prolong and intensify the coming industry agony. It is not only likely to keep many insurers scrambling for business when underwriting losses hit record levels, it is likely to cause them at such a time to redouble their efforts. This problem arises from the decline in bond prices and the insurance accounting conventions that allow companies to carry bonds at amortized cost. Regardless of market value. Many insurers own long-term bonds that, at amortized cost, amount to 2 or 3 times net worth. If the level is 3 times, of course, a 1/3 shrink from cost in bond prices, if it were to be recognized on the books, would wipe out net worth, and shrink they have. Some of the largest and best-known property casualty companies currently find themselves with normal or even negative net worth when bond holdings are valued at market. Of course, their bonds could rise in price, thereby partially or conceivably even fully restoring the integrity of stated net worth, or they could fall farther. We believe that short-term forecasts of stock or bond prices are useless. The forecast may tell you a great deal about the forecaster. They tell you nothing about the future. It might strike some as strange that an insurance company's survival is threatened when its stock portfolio falls sufficiently in price to reduce net worth significantly, but that at an even greater decline in bond prices produce no reaction at all. The industry would respond by pointing out that, no matter what that current price, the bond will be paid in full at maturity, thereby eventually eliminating any interim price decline. It may take 20, 30, or even 40 years. This argument says, but as long as the bonds don't have to be sold, in the end they'll all be worth face value. Of course, if they are sold, even if they are replaced by similar bonds offering better relative value, the loss must be booked immediately, and just as a properly published net worth must be adjusted downward by the amount of the loss. Under such circumstances, a great many investment options disappear, perhaps for decades. For example, when larger underwriting losses are in prospect, it may make excellent business logic for some insurers to shift from tax-exempt bonds into taxable bonds. Unwillingness to recognize major bond losses may be the sole factor that prevents such a sensible move. But the full implications flowing from massive unrealized bond loss are far more serious than just the immobilization of investment intellect. For the source of the funds to purchase and hold those bonds is a pool of money derived from policyholders and climates with changing faces. Money which, in effect, is temporarily on deposit with the insurer. As long as the pool retains its size, no bonds must be sold. If the pool of funds shrinks, which it will if the volume of business declines significantly, assets must be sold to pay off the liabilities, and if the asset consists of bonds with big unrealized losses, such losses will rapidly become realized, disseminating net worth in the process. Thus, an insurance company with a bond market value shrinkage approaching state net worth, of which there are now many, and also faced with inadequate rate levels that are sure to deteriorate further, has two options. One option for management is to tell the underwriters to keep pricing accordingly to exposure involved. Be sure to get $1 premium for every dollar of expense cost plus expendable loss cost. The consequences of this directive are predictable. A. With most businesses, both price sensitivity and renewable annually, many policies presently on the books will be lost to competitors in rather short order. B. As premium volume shrinks significantly, there will be a lagged but corresponding decrease in liabilities, unearned premiums, and claims payable. C. Assets, bonds, must be sold to match the decrease in liabilities. And D. The formerly unrecognized disappearance of net worth will become partially recognized, depending upon the extent of such sales, in the insurer's published financial statements. Variations of this depressing sequence involves a smaller penalty to stated net worth. The reaction of some companies at C would be to sell either stock that are already carried at market value or recently purchased bonds involving less severe losses. This ostrich-like behavior, selling the better asset and keeping the biggest losers, while less painful in the short term, is unlikely to be a winner in the long term. The second option is much simpler. Just keep writing business regardless of rate levels and whopping prospectives underwriting losses, thereby maintaining the present level of premiums, assets, and liabilities, and then pray for a better day, either for underwriting or for bond prices. There is much criticism in the trade press of cash flow underwriting, i.e., writing businesses regardless of prospective underwriting losses in order to obtain funds to invest at current high interest rates. The second option might properly be termed asset maintenance, underwriting the acceptance of terrible business just to keep the asset you now have. Of course, you know which option will be selected. And it also is clear that as long as many large insurers feel compelled to choose that second option, there will be no better day for underwriting. For if much of the industry feels it must maintain premium volume levels regardless of price adequacy, all insurers will have to come close to meeting those prices, right behind having financial problems yourself. The next worst plight is to have a large group of competitors with financial problems that they can defer by a sell at any price policy. We mentioned earlier that companies that were unwilling for any of a number of reasons, including public reactions, institutional pride, or protection of state net worth, to sell bonds at price levels forcing recognition of major losses, might find themselves frozen in investment posture for a decade or longer. But, as noted, that's only half of the problem. Companies that have many extensive companies to long-term bonds may have lost for a considerable period of time not only many of their investment options, but many of their underwriting options as well. Our own position is that respect is satisfactory. We believe our net worth, valuing bonds of all insurers at amortized costs, is the strongest relative to premium volume among all large property casualty stockholders owner groups. When bonds are valued at market, our relative strength becomes far more dramatic. But at least we get too puffed up, we remind ourselves that our asset and liability maturity still are far more mismatched than we would wish, and that we, too, lost important sums of bonds because your chairman was talking when he should have been acting. Our abundant capital and investment flexibility will enable us to do whatever we think makes the most sense during the prospective extended period of inadequate pricing. But troubles for the industry meant troubles for us. Our financial strength doesn't remove us from the hostile pricing environment now, enveloping the entire property casualty insurance industry. It just gives us more staying power and more options. Insurance operations. The National Indemnity Managers, led by Phil Leachy, with the usual able assistance of Ronald Miller and Bill Loynes, outdid themselves in 1980. While volume was flat, underwriting margins relative to the industry were at the all-time high. We expect decreased volume from the operations in 1981, but its managers will hear no complaints from corporation headquarters, nor will employees or salaries suffer. We enormously admire the national indemnity underwriting discipline embedded from our origin by the founder Jack Ringwalt, and know that this discipline, if suspended, probably could not be fully regained. John Seward at home and auto continues to make good progress in replacing a diminishing number of auto policies with volume from less competitive lines, primarily small premium, generally liability. Operations are being slowly expanded, both geographically and by product lines, as warranted by underwriting results. The reinsurance business continues to reflect the excess and problems of the primary writers. Worse yet, it has the potential for magnifying such success. Reinsurance is categorized by extreme ease of entry, large premium payments in advance, and much delayed loss reports and loss payments. Initially, the mooring mail bring lots of cash and few claims. This state of affairs can produce a blissful, almost euphoric feeling akin to that experienced by an innocent upon receipt of his first credit card. The magnetic lure of such cash-generating characteristics, currently enhanced by the presence of high interest rates, is transforming the reinsurance market into amateur night. Without a super catastrophe, industry underwritings will be poor in the next few years. If we experience such a catastrophe, there could be a bloodbath, with some companies not able to live up to contractual commitments. George Young continues to do a first-class job for us in this business. Results, with investments income include, have been reasonably profitable. We will retain an active reinsurance presence, but for the foreseeable future, we expect no premium growth from this activity. We continue to have serious problems in the homestead operation. Floyd Taylor in Kansas has done an outstanding job, but our underwriting records elsewhere is considerably below average. Our poorest performer has been Insurance Company of Iowa, at which large losses have been sustained. Problems at the California Workers' Compensation Division of National Indemnity. Dan Grossman, who originally brought Frank up to us, stepped in immediately after Frank's death to continue the operation, which now utilizes Redwood Fire and Casualty, another Berkshire subsidiary, as the insurance vehicle. Our major workers' compensation operation, Cypress Insurance Company, run by Milt Thornton, continues to its outstanding record year after year. Milt, like Phil Leachy, runs an underwriting operation that far outpaces its competition. In the industry, he is admired and copied, but not matched. Overall, we look for a significant decline in insurance volume in 1981, along with poorer and underwriting results. We expect underwriting experience somewhat superior to that of the industry, but, of course, so does most of the industry. There will be some disappointments. Textile and retail operations. During the past year, we have cut back the scope of our textile businesses. Operations at Wumbick Mills have been terminated, reluctantly but necessarily. Some equipment has transferred to New Bedford, but most has been sold, or will be. along with the real estate. Your chairman made a costly mistake in not facing the realities of this situation sooner. At New Bedford, we have reduced the number of looms operated by about 1/3, abandoning some high-volume lines in which produced differentiations was insignificant. Even assuming everything went right, which it seldom did, these lines could not guarantee adequate returns related to investment, and over a full industry cycle, losses were the most likely result. Our remaining textile operations, still stabilized, has been divided into a manufacturing and a sales division, each free to do business independently of the other. Thus, distributing strengths and mill capabilities will not be wedded to each other. We have more than doubled capacity in our most profitable textile segment. Through a recent purchase of used 130-inch Sawyer looms. Current conditions indicate another tough year in textiles, but with substantially less capital employed in the operations. Ben Rossner's record at Associated Retail Stores continues to amaze us. In a poor retailing year, Associates' earnings continue excellent, and those earnings all were translated into cash. On March 7, 1981, Associated will celebrate its 50th birthday. Ben has run the business, along with Leo Simon, his partner, from 1931 to 1966. In each of those 50 years, disposition of Illinois National Bank and Trust of Rockford. On December 31st, 1980, we completed the exchange of 41,086 shares of Rockford Bancorp, Inc., which owns 97.7% of Illinois National Bank, for a like number of shares of Berkshire Hathaway, Inc. Our method of exchange allows all Berkshire shareholders to maintain their proportional interest in the bank, except for me. I was permitted 80% of my proportional shares. They were thus guaranteed an ownership position identical to that they would have attended had we followed a more conventional spin-off approach. 24 shareholders of our approximated 1,300 chose this proportional exchange option. We also allowed over-exchange, and 39 additional shareholders accepted this option, thereby increasing their ownership in the bank and decreasing their proportional ownership in Berkshire. All got the full amount of Bancorp stock they requested, since the total shares desired by these 39 holders was just slightly less than the number left available by the remaining 1,200 plus shareholders of Berkshire who elected not to part with any Berkshire shares at all. As the exchanger of last resort, I took the small balance, 3% of Bancorp stock. These shares added to shares I received from my basic exchange allowment, 80% of normal, gave me a slightly reduced proportional interest in the bank and a slightly enlarged proportional interest in Berkshire. Management of the bank is pleased with the outcome. Bancorp will operate as an inexpensive and uncomplicated holdings company owned by 65 shareholders, and all of those shareholders will have become Bancorp owners through a conscious affirmation decision. Financing. In August, we sold $60 million of 12 3/4 notes due August 1st, 2005, with a sinking fund to begin in 1991. The managing underwriters, Dandelson, Lukefin, and Jerriton Secretaries Corporation, represented by Bill Fisher, and Chili's Heder and Company, Inc., represented by Charlie Heder, did an absolute first-class job from start to finish of the financing. Unlike most businesses, Berkshire did not finance because of any specific immediate needs. Rather, we borrowed because we think that over a period far shorter than the life of loan, we will have many opportunities to put the money to good use. The most attractive opportunities may present themselves at a time when credit is extremely expensive or even unavailable. At such a time, we want to have plenty of financial firepower. Our acquisition performance Our acquisition performance run toward businesses that generate cash, not those that consume it. As inflation intensifies, more and more companies find that they must spend all funds they generate internally just to maintain their existing physical volume of business. There is a certain margin-like quality to such operations. However, attractive the earnings numbers, we remain leery in business that never seemed able to convert such pretty numbers into no string attached cash. Businesses meeting our standards are not easy to find. Each year we read of hundreds of corporation acquisitions. Only a handful would have been of interest to us, and logical expansion of our present operation is not easy to implement, but we'll continue to utilize both avenues in our attempt to further Berkshire's growth. Under all circumstances, we plan to operate with plenty of liquidation, with debt that is moderate in size and properly structured, and with an abundance of capital strength. Our return on equity is penalized somewhat by the conservative approach, but it is the only one that which we feel comfortable. Gene Abbott, founder of our long-owned bank in Rockford, died on July 2nd, 1980, at the age of 82. As a friend, banker, and citizen, he was unsurpassed. You learn a great deal about a person when you purchase a business from him, and he then stays on to run it as an employee rather than as an owner. Before the purchase, the seller knows the business immediately, whereas you start from scratch. The seller and dozens of opportunities to mislead the buyer through omission and ambiguities and misdirection. After the check has changed hands, subtle and not so subtle changes of attitudes can occur and implicit understandings can evaporate. As in the courtship marriage sequence, disappointments are not infrequent. From the time we first met, Gene got straight 100% of the time. The only behavior pattern he had within him at the outset of negotiation, he laid all negative factors face up on the table. On the other hand, for years after the transaction was completed, he would tell me periodically of some previously undiscussed items of value that had come with our purchase. Though he was already 71 years of age when he sold us the bank, Gene subsequently worked harder for us than he had for himself. He never delayed reporting a problem for a minute, but problems were few with Gene. What else would you expect from a man who, at the time of the bank holiday in 1933, had enough cash on the premises to pay all depositors in full? Gene never forgot he was handling other people's money. Though this fiduciary attitude was always dominant, his superb managerial skills enabled the bank to regularly achieve the top position nationally in profitability. Gene was in charge of the Illinois National for close to 50 years, almost 1/4 of his lifetime of our country. George Meade, a wealthy industrialist, brought him in from Chicago to open a new bank after a number of other banks in Rockford had failed. Mr. Meade put up the money and Gene ran the show. His talent for leadership soon put its stamp on virtually every major civic activity in Rockford. Dozens of Rockford citizens have told me over the years of help Gene extend to them. In some cases, this help was financial. In all cases, it involved much wisdom, empathy, and friendship. He always offered the same to me. Because of our respective ages and position, I was sometimes the junior partner, sometimes a senior. Whichever the relationship, it always was a special one, and I missed it. Wow. That was really good. And that was Warren Buffett, chairman of the board, February 27th, 1981. Wow, guys, that was amazing. Oh my goodness. Oh. Hi, Bubby. Hi, my sweet. Wow. I don't even know what to say. I feel like we got so much out of that. I learned a lot about how I don't know if they still work that way, but if that's how insurances still work, I knew banks kind of worked that way, where they would work in the sense that there's something on you, puppy, where they work with your money, they take your money and they invest it and they make an investment off of it, right? And that's kind of what they were using the saved money for. But I did not think at all that insurances were doing the same thing, but with what are they called? What do they just call them? Oh, yeah, you got something. What is that? I'm getting sidetracked, guys. Sorry. I can't even remember what was it called? Bonds. With bonds. I did not think they did the same thing with bonds, but it makes sense. They want the money to go somewhere and they want it to come. So I'm going to have to look into that. You guys should look into it too, to see if that's the way that insurances still work, is that they make bonds and stuff like that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed me splitting this up so they weren't as long. This one would have been like an hour and a half long, which would have been crazy. So I'm glad I did split them up. But don't forget to like, share, hit that bell icon down below so that way you know when these are posted, and leave a little comment. Yeah, tell me what you guys think about the way banks and insurers work, and if that's what you guys thought, how they functioned, or maybe if they still function that way. I have to assume they do, even though it's been many years since he posted this, but I'll check it out. You guys should as well. Until next time, bye.